Welcome back, Lutz, for the first edition of Beyond the Brochure in spring semester. Here you have Jessica Trondsen, Editor-in-Chief of the Mast newspaper. So Jessica, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
So what grade are you in?
I am a junior.
All right. How'd you manage to get Editor-in-Chief job as a junior?
Well, I've worked for the Mast for almost 3 years now. It's my third year with the paper, so kind of just worked up into the role of Editor-in-Chief.
Okay, how'd you get started in the paper?
Yeah, so as a first year at PLU, I was looking to get involved with kind of a writing job on campus, and so I was taking a couple of communication classes, and I was told in those classes that the Mast would be a great place to work for. And luckily for me at the time, they had a couple positions open, one of which was for a copy editor position. So I applied with very little experience for this copy editor position, and fortunately received the job, and then I've just been there since.
Okay, so you say you worked your way up. How'd you manage to work your way up from copy editor all the way up to Editor-in-Chief?
Yeah, so as my first year as a copy editor, that made me a little more familiar with how the paper runs, process of working in a newsroom. At the end of my first year, I applied for the position of opinion section editor, which I served all of last year as a sophomore. So then as opinion editor, I got experience writing columns, writing articles, just hanging around the office, and that also gave me layout experience. And so then this year I was able to take on more of a leadership role because I had previous experience with each part of the process.
Okay. You said that you came in with very little experience coming in freshman year. Did you start by writing, or did you start just by being, what did the copy editor actually do?
I started as a copy editor, which is not the typical route for someone to get involved with the Mast. Most people get involved by coming in and writing for us or taking photos. At the time, they needed a copy editor, which is just someone who reads through all of the content and gives critiques on if things are looking good on the page, if stories make sense, you know, all of that stuff that goes on behind the scenes that makes the paper worth reading, you know, makes it clean. So I just lucked out doing that for a while during spring semester of first year here, and then I didn't actually start writing for the paper until my sophomore year. So
you kind of just cheated the system, didn't you?
I would not call it cheating, but yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so given this experience on the Mast, now having worked copy editor, writer, and now editor-in-chief, how are you going to take this experience to either apply to your major or just apply to your life in general from here on out?
Well, the Mast has definitely given me an opportunity to explore working in a newsroom, working with journalism. So it's taught me that that is a career I want to explore more after college. I am a double major in English writing and journalism, so I've always known that I wanted to write. My position at the Mast has also let me know that I like the editing part of it and the layout part of it, which I think has made me a little bit better suited for jobs after college, hopefully. I mean, I haven't applied to them yet, but hopefully. So after college, I know that I want to work in media somewhere. So. Okay.
Was your original major intention to be English major and journalism major, or did it kind of develop in your time as being on the Mast and being in the media room?
I spent most of my first year undeclared. Even though I knew I wanted to go into writing, I was definitely focused on the English writing part of it. The journalism aspect definitely came out of my work with the Mast and just enjoying what I was doing there.
Okay. To someone trying to get involved in the Mast, how easy is it to get involved, and also kind of what are the hoops you have to jump through to be able to be a part of the Mast and potentially find, you know, their calling for after college?
Yeah, so anyone who wants to get involved with the Mast is encouraged to attend one of our staff meetings, which happen Monday nights at 8 p.m. in the Mast office, which is Anderson University Center, room 172. Okay. Aside from that, if they can't make a meeting, if they don't know that they really want to get involved or whatever, they can always send me an email to mast@plu.edu, and I will help them figure out where they can get involved. We take guest writers and guest photographers year-round. There are hired positions for reporters and photographers also, and then there are always the editor positions.
Okay. What's the transition like from guest writer to hired official paid writer?
Mm-hmm. So we like to have our writers turn in a few different articles or a few different assignments before they become hired, just so that we can make sure that they're dependable, that they're willing to work with us and learn. The Mast is really a learning lab atmosphere, so we want to make sure that you're willing to put in the time. So we have writers and photographers do a couple of assignments. You know, it's typically been 3 assignments, and then we look into hiring them.
Mm-hmm.
It in some ways depends on the position a little bit and how drastically we might need to fill a position, but we like to give our writers and photographers a few weeks of working with their editors, working with the staff, being around the atmosphere.
Kind of make sure they're able to complete the required tasks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So knowing this, pretty much anybody can get involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not exclusive to comm majors, not exclusive to journalism majors, not exclusive to writing majors, but can anybody do it?
Definitely. Definitely anyone can get involved with the Mast. Any major that you have at PLU can in some way be beneficial to the Mast.
Mm-hmm.
So we cover stories that happen with each department on campus, and it's always helpful to have kind of that in with a writer potentially. You know, they might know something is going on that someone else wouldn't know. But you can be a comm major, you can be an English major, you could be a science major, you could be a nursing major, you can be whatever. If you're interested in writing, you're taking photos for the paper and sharing what you've experienced or what you think about something with PLU, then we would love to have you.
Okay. Last question before I close this out. You taking all your experience, what's the one thing you're going to take away from the Mast that you potentially wouldn't have had the opportunity to have received from PLU after coming here?
Mm-hmm. So the Mast really gave me kind of the role in PLU that I think I was looking for. As a first-year student, I was kind of struggling a little bit with figuring out what I wanted to get involved with, how I wanted to get involved, definitely knowing that I wanted to be doing more on campus. And so the Mast has given me opportunities to explore writing for an audience, to explore working with different teams of people, different leadership opportunities that you don't necessarily get in some of the other jobs that you could be working during college. So I'm taking from my experience at the Mast just a lot of applicable work skills for after college and a lot of leadership skills and self-growth, I think, that I've learned more from this than I maybe thought I could have. So it's been great. Okay.
And that concludes tonight's broadcast of Beyond the Brochure. We'll see you again next Thursday at 9. Check us out anytime at plu.edu/masttv. For all of us News at 9 crew, I'm Christian Dilworth. This is Jessica Trondsen. Good night.